Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Alberta Prepper. I wanted to thank you all for coming, and this one's a little bit different. The reason why I got into doing these videos, well, actually, there's a few reasons, and I think I've covered some of it at my introduction, but I wanted to go over it again. The reason why I got into this was because of my kids. And my dad. My dad died about 20 years ago now. And I was not as close to my dad as I should have been. It was a sad situation. He was a good man for the most part. He had his issues like we all do. But he and I didn't see eye to eye on many things. He had been on his national soccer team and junior national cricket team when he was a young kid. He grew up poor in a small Caribbean island, so poor that he and his siblings had to take turns going to school. One would go to school one year, the other would go to school the other years, and so on and so forth. So poor that he didn't even have shoes for a long time. And I think that in his mind, if you didn't do things his way, you weren't really worth his time. And he and I didn't really hang out together as such. And I didn't want that for my son. But in a strange way, it's turned out that way. My son's much younger, so there's plenty of time left to build that relationship. I try my best to give him the kindness, the love, the time I have to give him all my knowledge. But I'm not able to articulate my knowledge very well. When it comes to face conversations, I'm horrible at it. Either I ramble on or I go quiet, depending on how I react to the people in front of me. So in a strange way, talking to the camera doesn't feel the same way as talking to another person across the room. Just like when I met my wife, the best conversations we had were in the written form because I felt most comfortable being able to tell her how I felt through written form. So notes, texts, emails. Not that I don't talk to people, I just don't lay my heart out the way most people would. And that's where I came in with this idea that, this is a good idea to lay down my thoughts, my feelings, show a little bit of survival, and try and base it on the idea that people are not always going to be at everyone else's level. And as a former coach of Special Olympics, one of the training was you had to meet your athletes at their level, meaning that you may be this great and wonderful coach, or you may be this great and wonderful athlete, but you had to see them for who they really were, where they really were able to come to you and bring them along to a level that they didn't have before without making them feel like they had failed. That they, even if it wasn't being a professional athlete, that being who they are and being able to get a personal best each day or each month or each year was an amazing accomplishment, and that they should be proud of themselves. Too often I look at people on this platform who deal in the economic world and in the prepper world and in the news world, and we all look so high and mighty, so put together, so ready to go, so perfect. Doesn't matter what they do, it always seems to work out. They never show their flaws, their failures. And even if they do, they show how they overcame those flaws and failures. They never show the flaws and failures of the ones that they never overcame or still are struggling with. Every day, I struggle with my personal demons, my fears, my trepidations, the losses that meant a lot to me. The loss of my mom 25 years ago, the loss of my dad 20 years ago. I'm 52 now, almost 53. And even to this day, I still wish that my mom and dad were here to see how well I've done in my life. How all those fears that they had for me, they didn't have to worry because I made it. I got my wife, I got my kids, I got my home, I got my job. I'm doing okay. Not great, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm doing okay, and I'm surviving the way that I was hoping I could. And I try my best every day, and that's all I can do. And the reason why I wanted to put together these series of videos, I don't know how many I'll put together. If I put together 20 or 10,000, it is what it is. But what I wanted to do was have a library for my kids to see who their dad really was. Not the person that they feel because I am their dad and I have to be tough on them and guide them in a way that that gets them to succeed in the way that they want to succeed. To not give up. Like, I look at my son, who is an amazing singer, an amazing actor at such a young age, who has immense joy playing musical instruments and doing well at it, getting awards, winning competitions, getting accolades. And I'm proud of him like no one's business. And that's where I'm different than my dad. My dad didn't understand the sports that I liked, or the games I enjoyed, or my hobbies. And because of that, he never came to any of my games except for one baseball game he came to when I played. And I didn't even get to play that game. And my dad went home and said to me, he goes, well, I don't know why you play that game. They didn't even play you. Like, why be on a team that they don't want to play you? And I go, I play because I love the game. And I had played all the other games, except for that one game that my dad happened to come to. And my dad just looked at me with disappointment in his eyes, and he said, well, if you had followed my footsteps, you probably would have been better off. And I said I didn't like soccer and I had no interest in cricket. And he goes, oh, well, you know, but I do have this other thing. I have an art display that I've done that's at the school. Would you like to come and see it? No, I don't have the time. My mom came. My mom came to all my stuff. My mom was my cheerleader and my friend. And my dad was just my dad. I loved him. I cared about him. He'd fight for me if I needed help that way. But he wasn't the warm, loving guy that I truly needed and desired. He wasn't the guiding force, but he certainly knew how to punish. When I heard the belt leave those loops, I knew my ass was grass. But how I treat my kids is not the same as how my dad treated me. I love going to my kids' stuff. Sometimes it's amazing. Other times it's not so amazing. But it doesn't matter what it is. I'm proud of them for taking that chance to do something in their lives. And my son's not an athletic boy. He had some physical issues. He still has those same physical issues. It's a dexterity issue in his fine motor skills. So I meet him at his level. At first I pushed him hard to try and get it, and all it would do is frustrate him. And he didn't want to do anything. But once I met him at his level and realized that he wasn't going to be me, and he wasn't going to be his grandfather, he wasn't going to be any of his grandfathers or great grandfathers, he was going to be himself. And that was an amazing realization for myself. So I look back at those years that he's been growing, and he still has many years to grow before he leaves on his own. But I'm proud of him. No matter what he does, no matter how far he goes, I will always be proud of him. And the same for my daughter. My daughter is an amazing artist. She is also an amazing singer. My kids get that from their mom. I sing like a dead frog, but their mom was an amazing opera singer, an amazing teacher. She still is. She can teach anyone to sing. It's amazing to listen. But I look at it this way. My family are amazing people, and I'm so glad I get to have them in my life. And that's what these videos are about. So when Travis, the economic ninja, and his twin brother, the real estate ninja, made a challenge saying, if you're 50 years old and you should start being on YouTube, I thought to myself, well, first off, I have no clue if I'll get any traction. And really, if I don't, that's okay. Because these are for my kids so that they can learn what I know. And maybe I can learn something about myself when I look into this camera and talk to it, to understand who I am as a person, as a man. I work hard every day. I go to the gym as many times as I can, weekly. Like, I've gone every day, except for a Saturday or a Sunday here or there, because I love going to the gym. I love the feeling of being able to get out of my bed and not ache. And that's why I go to the gym. I got into prepping because I love being prepared. I love challenging myself to do new things, to try new skills, to just do anything that's new. Things that scare me, I love to do. Because if I can do it, if I can get over my fear, what an amazing moment that is. But I know this is not an exciting video or an interesting video. But this is for my kids. This is for them to one day stumble upon and go, hey, that's my dad. And when I'm gone, they can show their kids. And their kids can show their kids. And go, this is our grandfather. He believed in our dad or our grandfather. He believed in our grandmom or mother. He believed in his kids, and he believed in his family, and he believed in himself. And the ninja asked for some comments about his videos and stuff like that. And a lot of times his videos, as much as he thinks that he wants to get rid of people who aren't at his level, the fact is that that's not meeting people at their level. He wants to meet people at a higher level, and that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. I want to do that. I love meeting people who have more knowledge than I do. But I also understand that those who don't have knowledge, who have fears, who may not be as strong, as knowledgeable, as willing, who've failed over and over again, it takes time. It takes a different mentality to be able to do that, to get out of that fail. It's not for people who have had success in their lives at one time or another. It's a lot easier to see success in the future. When you've seen nothing but failure in your life, to be able to pull yourself out of that is a lot harder than people think. I went through a lot of successes and a lot of failures. And for a stint there, for a decade, I went through Failure after failure after failure after failure. Everything I did, I failed at. When it came to school, when it came to work, when it came to home, when it came to myself, I failed. It took a long time for me to pull myself out of that tailspin. It took a long time to be able to look at myself in the mirror and not wish that I hadn't woken up that morning. It took a long time to even understand that you even wanted to live long enough to see it. And after my mom died, there was no more joy in my heart. My nickname was Laughing Boy in high school. By the time my mom died, there was no more Laughing Boy, no more happy boy, no more happy human being. It was a very unhappy, sad person who worked hard but didn't care about anything. And when I did turn my life around, it took a long time to even get to that point of building on getting a success, even the first success. Because even the success turned into a failure sometimes, which puts you into another tailspin. But I was different. Instead of giving up, I said, why give up? You got to do this. You woke up this morning, go do it again and try again. Was I enthusiastic? Was I like, yes, let's go do this? No. I was like, God, fine, I'll do it. I'll try one more day. And I try one more day and try one more day. It was hard to see myself as a winner. And it was hard to see myself as someone who had a chance to do anything in this world. The ninja didn't teach me how to do anything, but he did kind of make me feel like it was okay not to be perfect. And he may not have been meeting me at my level. That's fine. That's not for him to do. What I found about him was that he always had some information, a little bit of nugget of information here and there that helped others and helped me better plan for the future. And as a prepper, that's what I was looking for. I was just looking for information on how to better prep for my family and for myself. His world is different than mine, which is fine. I still like watching him. He makes me laugh some days. Other days he makes me angry. And some days I just roll my eyes. But the number of days that I just roll my eyes or angry at him are infinitesimal compared to the days that I laugh and get good quality knowledge. And I thank him for that. Now is my time to make the next video. The video that I was actually going to make this morning. The one I wanted to make for my channel. But first I'll upload this one to the channel. And then I will do my regular one, which is about knives and prepping and how to pick the right knife for yourself. And don't worry about what other people think. I hope that you have a great day. And I'll talk to you later. Alberta Prepper out.